Hello everyone, this is a good captain and welcome to my Let's Play, or LP, of Campaign Series. This is Westfront and we're going to be starting a new linked campaign game titled Operation Sealion. Now, if you're new to the channel, if this is the first time you're checking out this video, I'm just going to take a couple quick minutes to describe who I am and why I'm doing this. Now, I've owned every copy of this, or every installment of this game from uh, the original East Front in the late 90s through the Middle East variant, so all the way up to the Matrix games campaign series, of course. So I know what I'm doing. I've played this a lot on and off since for the last 20 years, and uh, what you're going to be seeing and hearing is not the somebody who's playing the game, trying it out. It's going to be a seasoned, hopefully seasoned play. I do feel very much like I know what I'm doing in this game, and I know what best practices are to ensure major victories in each of your battles or campaign missions. Okay, on top of that, I am actually a captain in the U.S. Army, or at least I was. I'm currently in the inactive Ready Reserve. Prior to that, I was in the National Guard. Prior to that, I was in active duty. Prior to that, I was in ROTC, and during that time, and throughout that time, I was very much interested in all things strategy in terms of the top level stuff, like as is represented by this game, and down to the tactical level. While I was in the Army, I went to airborne school and completed that training. So I'm technically paratrooper qualified. And I also attended the Sapper Leader course, which is one of the toughest schools the Army has to offer, and passed that as well. I've always had a love for tactics and strategy, and so hopefully if that piques some interest in this LP. And yeah, I think we'll put a pin in it there and start to uh, move into the scenario now. Now, at the top of each scenario, I kind of have a standard operating procedure where I go through a certain fixed uh, series of tasks. So you'll see that briefly here. Although the first scenario, this one's kind of neat. I've already stepped into the game to take a look and see what we're dealing with. So I know that the first mission is a paradrop mission into heavy fog. So this is going to be really fun. But I figured I'd start at the screen here and read the historical here. So this is titled Operation Sealion. We're fighting for Germany, and it's a linked campaign game, which means that how well you do on one mission affects where you go on the next. There's essentially a campaign tree of opportunities and things that can happen. So, by June 4th, the last British ship had disappeared over the horizon outside of Dunkirk, leaving behind vast quantities of arms, ammunition, and equipment. The next day, Kesselring's Luftflotte 2 began its preliminary flights in preparation for Operation Sealion. It's now July 14th, Eagle Day, the beginning of the German invasion of England. Your parachute battalion is one of the first German units scheduled to land on English soil. Can you lead the Reich's forces victoriously to London? Okay, so it's a battalion level command, which if you were around in my last LP, where we did the Fall of the Philippines LCG, we had the same sized unit, a battalion. Click OK. One thing that's important to do before you start is to review the command of your forces, and there's a couple of reasons for this. One, you'll notice things like what I'm noticing here. Very interestingly, all the officers attached to my command have the same morale as the troops they're leading. Typically, there's usually a point higher so that the troops that these leaders are stacked with get a morale benefit. But for the time being, that's That's not this case. So the other reason is you can make, and you will get to this in game, but I've already made it. You can make a PDF of the unit statistics for each of your units, and this is important to do. It's not complicated, and what the information that is on this is not complicated, but uh, so I made one. Notice we have one engineer platoon. I thought that was kind of cute. So let's begin next mission. Eagle Day, Hawking Airdrome, 11 kilometers west of Dover. During the past 3 weeks since the final fall of France, the Luftwaffe has been busy bombing English targets of all description. In the Dover area, directly behind the planned invasion beaches, the favorite targets of late have been the road and rail junctions, in an almost obvious attempt to isolate the invasion sites from reinforcements. It is now July 14th, 1940, and the fateful German invasion of England has begun. A vast armada of gliders and transports is now heading across the English Channel, intent on dispersing the first wave of German invaders across southeastern England. In the van is your 1st Battalion of the 7th Fallschirmjäger Division's 2nd Parachute Regiment. Your troops' initial objective is to capture and secure the Hawking Airdrome. The airfield is of the utmost importance and is vital to the continuation of the campaign. And then you get a little pin on exactly where in England you'll be dropping. So right just inside the beach here. Okay. It's taking a second to load up. I never use extreme assault or very visibility. These are things that Matrix games added on. This, as far as I ever knew, that were never in the original Talonsoft series of any of the games. Axis command report says that reinforcements have arrived, and it's my turn. All right, so there is a series of things I usually go through first, but the first thing I notice about this scenario takes us outside of that sort of system I have, and this is the fact that all of our reinforcements enter on turn 1 and our parachute units. That means they're going to be literally dropping into the map. And so understanding exactly what is going to be happening in regards to the drops can be important. And I've already reread the rules in regards to paratroops, but they're located on page 42 of your manual. And the main thing to take into account in this situation is that 1, they will be disrupted when they land. 2, they will be low on ammo when they land. So getting them resupplied is going to be kind of a priority. We're getting them out of low ammo status, I should say. Also, paradrop casualties. So there is a certain amount of dispersal or scattering, it says, that can take place, and the amount of scatter each paradropped reinforcement group is preset by the scenario designer. So I don't know if they're going to go 1, 2, 3 hexes away. But if they land in, I'll just cut to the chase and say, if they land in rough forest, village, suburb, city, factory, or special building, they can take random point losses. So I'm not going to go into any more. I know there's a little more detail to go into than that. I'm going to spare you, but I've already sort of looked at where each of these companies is landing, and each company essentially has its own landing zone. The first one, and the one that contains the engineers, mortars, and headquarters platoon, will land just north of and west of Postling, this little village here. The other drop is going to be just north and west of New Barn in these wheat fields up here. And the last one is up on Talsford Hill. And this is the one I'm most worried about because, again, I've checked all the little, you can do this too. You can scroll up and down and check the hexes, 212, 112, 313. So I've already kind of pinned these out on the map to uncover where our LZs are and to see what the risks are. So there's a village hex here I'm a little worried about in regards to bringing on these units. So I'm actually going to take the first turn. Instead of doing the scenario analysis, we're just going to bring our units on. They have no action points anyway, so let's just bring them on and see how they shake out. So again, 212, fact, I might just do this just to as a learning teaching experience. So 212 is right here. The way I know that is in the bottom right hand corner. It gives us the hex. You just click anywhere on the map, bottom right hand corner, and the black numbers tell us the hex. So 212. That's the target hex. Let's see how much dispersion there is. Okay, so that looks one landed on target. The other two units had one hex dispersion. And now we're going to go for the next group, and that's 112. The hex just behind this one, and which is interestingly only one hex away from the board edge. So I'm starting to think that there's probably only one hex dispersion allowed on these drops. Okay, yeah, he landed one hex off of, and the next is 313. So, ooh, this has a 1 in 7 chance of being dispersed into this village, in which case we would take a random SP loss divided by 2. Okay, we didn't land in the village, thankfully. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, but okay, we landed, I think that was 411, so yeah, 411, that's what is here. So these three were dispersed one space. Engineer platoon, 612. Okay, now we're moving on. This was, again, the main drop. Headquarters and mortars, engineers, and a whole company. Okay, but now we're going to move to 1015, which I think is, oh, that's the Tolford Hill here. Now, again, we have a 1 in 7. I'm going to just call this 1 dispersional, I think is the maximum the scenario designer is allowed, so we got like a 1 in 7 chance landing in the trees, which one of them did. So let's inspect and see what casualties we took. None. Wow, we got lucky. That means I think we rolled a 1 for the SP and then divided by 2, fractions rounded down. That was incredibly lucky. Whoops. We're probably not going to be that lucky. Yeah, 917. This is a terrible drop zone location. Now we have a 2 in 7 chance of taking some random SP losses. Okay, but we passed again. And then 8-8. Now here's the other one up here. Last one. This one has no, yeah. All right, it is 1-1, or it is 1 hex dispersion. So 7-8. I don't think we're gonna have any chance of losing anybody here. And 9-9. A little close to the trees, but yeah, there was no way. All right, so we landed in the trees here, but we didn't take an SP loss. So, all right, so that's the first turn. And again, there really is absolutely no point to, I mean, there's nothing we can do here. So we'll give the enemy its turn and listen carefully. Okay, so I heard at least 2 units moving around back there. And reinforcements have arrived. Actually, I already know what that happened here, but we should have had them all come in on turn 1, but there was some delay. It doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get all your reinforcements when just because it says it arrives on turn 1 doesn't mean you're going to get them all. But I should have gone over that, but as I recall, I think they were supposed to all come in. Okay, 10 units are low on ammo, of course, and then 9 of 16 have been recovered. So we got 9 out of 6, just over half are not disrupted. Let's go check out the situation. Actually, I'm going to take a pause, examine it for myself, and then bring it back. Yeah, so it looks like 2 units were supposed to come in on turn 1 and failed to do so. And these are both, I should have noticed this. This is not a complete company up here at Tolford Hill. So one LZ is 916, and the other is 915, I should say, and the other is 1016. So 915 is here, and 1016 is here. So the second one will definitely have a 2. This is a pretty, I'll do that one first. He has a pretty decent chance of landing in trees and taking an SP loss, which he did not. and then this one. Excellent. Okay. So now all my troops are on the ground. And yeah. Okay, so now it's time to do the scenario analysis. And the first thing I like to do is read the historical. And we already did that. So this scenario title is Into the Fire. We've got 20 turns. And interesting is this very thick fog, which gives us a 1 visibility. So it really is just like a night scenario, except there's no shooting at gun flashes. So if you don't know what I mean, don't worry about it. I'm sure there will be a night scenario at some point. If you haven't, if you haven't been following me, we've already done a few with the Japanese and the Philippines. So, okay. The next thing I like to do is if you dab your 4 key, bring it up to the 2D map, and this is helpful because you can see the terrain elevations much easier. Noticeably, we have beach X's down here in the bottom right-hand corner. It shows you how close to the landing sites we are of the main invasion. Okay, and we notice that there's a sort of this ground level terrain down here. Then it rises up to level 1 and 2. And then up to 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 6 levels of terrain. And so we're in the hills above the beaches. And there's going to be 1 or 2 terrain change elevations. And I just like to keep my eye on elevation because it affects movement at the very least. But nothing crazy. Okay. The next thing I try to look for is significant terrain. This can really be anything that stands out, especially relative to the objectives. There's some interesting buildings. There's a paved road here that's pretty significant in that it lands up or kind of heads in the direction, at least at the beginning, towards Hawkinge Airdrome. Same with this dirt road here. Okay, so there's some potential routes of advance there. Objectives. There are 5. We have 1 here. This is the military camp. Yeah, military camp. It's only 25 points. Same as here. That's just sort of 2 on the same route of advance, sort of incentivizing using the paved road as a route of advance. And then the last 3 are situated in one screen here, and it's the Hawkinge Airdrome, the hangars, and Winter's Gate Farm. And these are worth the most points, 150, 50, and 75 here. And why are we looking at the objectives? Well, 1, we want to know where they are to know which direction to go, and then also they are important to understanding victory. We got 325 points worth of objectives, so if we only got objectives, we'd have 325, and we'd still be short 175 points worth towards the major victory. So we actually have to capture all of our objectives and inflict more damage on the enemy than they do to us in the tune of 175 SP points worth of damage. So that helps frame up what we need to get done here. And you should do this at the beginning of every scenario, in my opinion. Then I like to do a review of all supporting units. I promise we're getting to the end and we'll start pushing pieces. This is something I do normally, and we'll speed it up. And I only do it at the first of every scenario, new scenario. So support units, there's no air. We have no artillery. I'm sorry, excuse me. We have the mortars that we dropped with, but we have no smoke. So mortars are just going to be for fire missions. And then finally, what is the plan? How will we attack? Do we have enough time? I always like to put that in there. Do we have enough time? I'm always asking how much time do we have? 20 turns is pretty good, but of course the first one, arguably 2, are a throwaway. Since we are an airborne unit, we need to kind of get out of disrupted low ammo status to get before we truly get going. But I'm going to take the company on Tulsford Hill, excuse me, and stage them for an attack on the military camp. And then the company that landed in the wheat field north of New Barn will just sort of naturally go to this dirt road, head to Etching Hill, and then head towards the main final battle area, probably Winter's Gate, Paddlesworth. Now, it is sort of difficult for me to determine what the best thing to do is in regards to the headquarters. He's got, if we don't keep him supplied, units that are not in supply will, fatigued is half strength, and being low on ammo affects you negatively as well. It's not half strength. Just a second, let me look it up. Yeah, here it is. You assault at 3/4 effectiveness. You attack at 50% strength point. So you get the full value of your attack, but it's as if you only had 3 strength points as opposed to 6 if we're a paratrooper platoon at full strength. And you defend at 50% of strength point. So, yeah, you don't want to be low ammo. You don't want to be fatigued when you're in the middle of combat. So, back to the game. To check the command radius, you can click on your headquarters and dab the W key, and this is any units in this umbrella have a chance to being resupplied. So I'm not quite sure which axis of advance they're going to follow, but it seems it could be that one company could be out of supply at any given time, given that they sort of branch away from each other. If we go down this paved route versus if we go along this dirt route, or anyone who does. But we're going to have to split, I think. There's just not that much time to gather up all the objectives by not splitting up. So, but the first thing I always like to do, and I'm done with the scenario analysis now, so first thing I always like to do is the most obvious things. Now, the units on Tulsford Hill are the least mission capable at this point, disrupted, low on ammo. So we will do our best to get our headquarters into a position where we can resupply them. For the moment, that seems to be just moving over here. And the next thing we'll do is, let's see, yeah, so now that I move the headquarters, I can see this is as far as the reach is going to go. Probably going to need another turn, so we'll probably take 2 turns to stage before we assault the military camp, which is good because we got a lot of disrupted units up here that need time to gather themselves. In fact, we'll just move space. One space. Space. Yeah. Okay. Just like that. And then up here in the fields, disrupted units have a very, they're very immobile. But okay, we'll lead off here. We can only see adjacent hexes, so there's, if you followed me along in my last campaign, you know how I like to, basically I call it bait shots, draw fire. We are not going to be able to do that in this scenario. This is going to be a meat grinder, and I expect to take a number of casualties just from, yeah, I expect to take a number of casualties from rifle fire. So we'll go ahead and double time this guy. Okay, let's go. Actually, I'm a little leery. It's not uncommon for the AI to not shoot disrupted units, so I'm not sure what the situation in New Barn is. So instead, I'll move. Yeah, let's go ahead and try it. We'll take the risk. It's there. Okay. One more company to go. I think no matter what direction we go, sort of rallying up and postling, whatever you want to call it, seems like the right thing to do. So let's go ahead and move some units in there. Engineers. Major. The captain. Even the major has a leadership of 7. That's, not quite. That still gives a leadership bonus. Okay. Up here. Yeah, so I've put the disrupted units with the leader so they get the morale benefit, have a higher probability of rallying next turn. Here. Double time. And lastly, here. Yeah, this leader did not confer any benefit to the machine gun team. Okay, so pretty good. All units have been considered. Again, there's not much to do on the first few turns when it's just pair drops. So we'll give the enemy its turn. Yep. Especially with this, it's interesting with this very thick fog. It really is. It's not good for me. I can't stand that. That drives me nuts. I'm not going to be able to safely engage any enemy, frankly. So we have 12 units low on ammo, which is terrible. And yes, the HQ is unable to provide supply because we just moved it. Last turn, we need to stand him stationary for a turn, which we'll do this turn. And we got 5 of 9, so we're getting to the end of the disruptions. So first, let's check the range on that headquarters. All right, so this is the tether. We're going to tether our troops, so I'm not going to step outside of the lighted area. So you're disrupted, you're low on ammo. Let's get you, again, there's a risk in every move, but we've got to move, so let's get you here. Get you here, get you here. I think we'll leave you alone. Again, right at the edge of supply, the supply range. Now the north side units. Yeah, we'll move right to the edge. Good, these units are rallied. I'm just going to leave this on, can I? Yeah. So we'll move here, here. Okay. It's looking a lot better. Oh, this guy's still disrupted. It's not good. Okay, let's check the range of this mortar. Okay, so we're not yet in fire support range. Getting better. Okay, now you guys. I think we're just gonna head up to Tolsford Hill. Seems kind of the most safe thing to do. So double time. You're already fatigued. Machine gun, you're already fatigued, so you can't double time. Leader. These guys, neither of them came undisrupted. That's terrible. I'll just move one space. Engineer platoon. Double time. No help there. Let's join the north side. Okay, so again, pretty quick turn. Yes. Almost missed a unit. I always cycle. I use the cycle key down here every turn, no matter what. And this is why, because you can miss little things, and you don't want to miss a single thing ever. Let's go ahead and double time him. Okay. So hopefully our HQ provides some supply next turn. All units have been considered. There are no fire support missions to be had, and no air. So we'll give the enemy its turn. Two of 4. Only 4 units low on ammo. Look at that. It jumped from, what was it, 12 to 4? Excellent. Excellent. So, we have 1 disrupted unit. This is not good. You're low on ammo. This Tulsford Hill company is saying you're low on ammo. Not good. So I think we will delay our attack on the military camp for yet another turn. And in the meantime, we are going to proceed down a road in the north and head towards Etching Hill on our way to Winter's Gate Farm. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about moving down a road. You never want to have more than 12 SP on a road. Strength SP is strength points, where they so you notice we have 6 in this parachute unit. More than 12 means you don't confer the road bonus. So we actually need to unjam this if we want to move units behind through and utilize the road bonus. So we'll move this paratroop platoon forward. Then we'll take the rearmost, walk through using the road bonus, walk through using the road bonus, move here. The reason I'm doing this is if we run into enemy, we'll have someone behind them who can still shoot. So we'll do it again, just to show you. 1, using road bonus, use the road bonus, use the road bonus. If we had it overloaded, we did, and that first hex, they would have had to pay the open ground cost. So I sort of leapfrogged, and yes, I know that these units could have moved further up, but I can't see anything, and I just, I think for the time being, I don't feel super rushed. So, and this, since we're still kind of gathering our strength, I figured this is, yeah, it's just something we need to do. Okay, the engineers. So this will be, oh, watch it, check it out. We're going to use the road bonus here. We're going to use the road bonus here. So we're paying the open ground. You know what? We're going to overstack this hex. Yeah, that makes sense. So we overstack the hex, it confers a bonus to the enemy. If the enemy shoots into this right now, they'll get a bonus based on how many points. It's a prorated bonus based on how many points over 12 SP that you exceed in the hex. So, but if anybody comes adjacent, which is the only way they could hurt us, my guys will react and shoot them. So next turn we will find out what the heck is in Etching Hill. Okay, and this, gosh, this machine gun team is doing so badly in terms of not undisrupting, which is unfortunate. Okay, double time. No benefit. You can check, there's a way to check to see if the double timing will help or not. I really thought it might, but guess not. Okay. These units will come forward. Again, double timing wherever we can, given that we have a lot of distance to cover. It's going to be key. I really don't want to head into areas that haven't already been. That I haven't already been. Okay. Just moving your units one at a time so you don't get ambushed. That's another best practice. All right, headquarters. We're gonna leave. Let's check the status. Are you guys supplied? No. One of you is not, but two of you are not down here, right? So we are gonna risk. Yeah, we're gonna stay in place one more turn to try to get these last few units down here who are preparing to attack the military camp a chance to get resupplied. Yeah, but you are resupplied. Yeah, we're going to do a little preliminary reconnaissance here. Check out the military camp on this side of the road. Okay, nobody's there. Awesome. Or at least I'm assuming they would have shot. In fact, I'll take that. That's a good piece of ground. Let's occupy that. You guys, however, will wait. We will wait. Yeah, we don't want to get too spread out. Yep. Okay, let's cycle through. All units have been considered. No fire missions, no air support. Okay. So, give the enemy its turn and listen very carefully. Okay, our last two have been undisrupted. Now 3 units low in ammo. I was hoping for a better report than that. Huh, we just couldn't get them. And one up there. Okay. Okay, this is it. Let's see how much we are on time. I do try to keep it at or under an hour. So we got 15 to 20 minutes left before we wrap up this video. But now we will launch our assault on the military camp. So we're going to use our rearmost unit first because he will be the most exhausted in terms of action points. And the best way to approach this objective is to utilize the hedge as some cover. So we'll move here and then here. Okay. Wow, alright, we survived. I'm going to take a pause and identify this unit. Actually, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So this is very important, especially at the start of a campaign. Dab the F3 key, pull up which game you're playing, select the nation you're fighting against, or whichever one you're trying to find out about, United Kingdom, and then utilizing the depiction in the top right, you can basically use this unit handbook to uncover, excuse me, you can use this book to uncover the unit that you're fighting and get the information on them. So I'm going to give me a little pause. I'll be right back and we will find out what this guy is. Yo, I'm back. So check this out. Yeah, I found it. It's a home guard platoon. The depiction matches the one that I'm seeing in the battlefield. The years make sense. August 1940. Actually, the years don't make sense, right? Isn't this July 19... Oh, no. This is, yeah, no, this is 1940. So, yeah, the years don't quite make sense, but the depiction does, and home guard is definitely something that I was expecting to run into, just because I know my history, but what you do is you add them to the comparison, which is this button here. I know it says remove, but I already added it here. Watch, see, remove, compare. Then it opens up a new tab up here, and you can see that the home guard platoon shoots at on a 6 firepower column at range 1, 3 at 2, and 1 at 1. So if we could, the bait hex, what I call the bait hex range for these enemy units would be hex range 3. That's where you could get the AI to shoot at you with and absorb the fire safely. But since there's heavy fog, we were just nailed 2 fire attacks at 6. And now, you know, I made a scorecard for my own units. So my parachute infantry platoons hit at 12. The machine guns at 16 when they're adjacent. So let's go back to the battle. So he shot twice, which basically means he's, in a sense, shot out. And now we're going to move, we'll move this parachute unit here, platoon here. We can assault, but we want to do a little more reconnaissance, and we need to do some damage to this guy. So let's move this parachute unit here. So we're basically clearing this section of the military base. Okay, and then the low on ammo unit, I'm going to have him move into the woods here. Yeah, actually, first I'm going to move the machine gun team down the road 2 hexes, and then pop this guy. Again, if we bring up our scorecard, HMG 30 platoons shoot at 16, so this is a very much more powerful attack than they delivered against us. Yeah, 16. Damn. No effect. Yeah, we need to disrupt this guy, so we're not gonna assault, we're gonna shoot. And retreat. It's better than nothing. And we're gonna go ahead and relieve the enemy of this fortified position. Okay. Now actually I will not move into the woods. Again, the thick fog makes it so that I don't really want to secure the area. I just want to do a minimum attack. That's my inclination at this point. Move here. Yeah, let's get you. Actually, let's check the range. Yeah, you're out of range. Okay, so let's keep moving. I'm going to pay the open ground price, not the road benefit, because I'm going to overload this hex. Greater than 12 strength points, and then finally I'll move. Yeah, move here. So we took our first objective. We can see that we have the 25 here, but to clear the major defeat we need a lot more. Okay, now into our movement into Etching Hill. Just because there's no objective here doesn't mean there's not enemy troops. You should always treat, especially with this fog, you should treat everywhere that there's enemy. So to scope out this hex, the safest thing we can do is move a unit into this grain field here. The TEM, we don't get any TEM. The enemy gets to hit us at 100% strength. But it's better than this open ground where the morale is -1. So there's not a negative morale effect. So let's move our low on ammo unit, which unfortunately is a headquarters platoon. We'll move him adjacent and scope out and see what's in there. Huh, okay. Maybe there's nobody there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do yeah, I think it's safe now. We'll move one unit here. What I'm doing right now is checking how much victory, yeah, look, they get, if victory points per SP, if the enemy destroys 1 SP of the unit, they get 3 victory points in this platoon. The engineer platoon, they get 5, so we do not want to take any SP losses on our engineer platoon. Alright, so we'll go ahead and scope out this next hex in Etching Hill. Ouch. Okay, then we take our first SP loss. Dang it. And now, this is not... Is that a home guard? Not sure, so we'll bring back up the unit handbook. You can rotate the base to sort of... Yeah, it's not, so Little pause while I ID this unit. Yo, I'm back, and now I can't be 100% sure since we have so little information. Just using the unit depiction is a little tough. Could be any number of rifle platoons, but a rifle platoon is what it is. So I pulled out the rifle platoon 1940, and we see that it hit us at a 9 firepower column to cause that SP loss. Also, this is a roadblock, so clearly they, in a sense, were ready for us. And now we're not going to do anything other than we're not going to attack this guy yet because we're 2 hexes away. We're really going to just sort of stack up. We're going to stack up around him, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to really use this fog to our advantage as much as we can too, you know? I'm a little leery about moving adjacent to this special building here, at least at the moment. Finally, our MG is disrupted. So we'll move him in. Move the mortar. And now we definitely want to move, well, let's move these units first. Yeah. Let's move the rearmost units first. Again, a little leery about moving against this special building. Now we sort of need to make a decision which company are we going to support. This guy. Yeah. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Well, I like the idea of a paved road better than a dirt road. We get, it's actually a fairly crucial road bonus improvement. You can move a whole extra hex per turn. So, yeah, if I had to choose, I'd go south. Just gets us to the battlefield faster. And there's another objective down there. So, yeah, the North Company will be the secondary axis of advance. So we'll move south. Okay, cycle through. All units have been considered. No fire missions. We give the enemy its turn. Look at this. Okay, so before you click on the allied card, the allied player card to let them have their turn, you get a reconnaissance report. We see, is that a leader? Or is that motor transport? I'm not sure. Also, we just kind of went up adjacent to some mines there. That's interesting. So, let's see what the enemy does to us. Home guard platoon, no effect. Whew, that was the one I was worried about. Okay, this will probably be the last turn. We're finally completely undisrupted. 3 units low on ammo. Yeah. Okay, so best thing we could do is use this unit that's already in the village with some terrain effects modifier. 0.610, nice. That means the enemy only gets 60% of the strength of the attack there when it shoots at us. but it cuts both ways. Let's see if our unit can do some damage. Come on. No effects. Okay. Next we'll bring in this engineer platoon. And for those of you interested in knowing what the difference is, there's no difference with the soft attack. The hard attack, the engineers are great at 18, but soft attack no different than a rifle platoon. But we want them to remove this roadblock. So up here, this is a leader, so that's not good. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little risk and bring in both of my rifle platoons in the open here. Shoot them. There we go. Reduced by 2. We don't have enough action points to assault, so we'll just shoot them up again. Alright, so cut down 3 SP, and now we can go to the Strength tab. Yes, it is a Rifle Platoon 40. See that? You can actually, the AI will give you an idea of what you're fighting by the casualties that you cause. So yeah, we're moving right along. I'm not too worried about this guy anymore. He can still do some damage, but it's I think we're going to be okay. Now, I'm down here at the military camp. This guy's still in good order. Let's pop him. Excellent. Yes, we can assault. How bad do we want to blast this guy? In fact, let's check on his home guard status. Yeah, home guard platoon. How much do we want to destroy this unit? I was planning on leaving a platoon behind anyway, so I'm not going to expend the efforts of a company to destroy a flimsy home guard unit. Instead, we'll just shoot him again. So he's popped 2 SP, and he retreated. So actually, we're going to leave this guy here. We're just going to leave him there to guard that objective, and we're going to go down the road, basically. Let's double time everyone. Up the road. Use the rearmost unit first. Start heading down. Okay. So we're sort of leapfrogging our units forward one at a time. You're low on ammo. Yeah, so we'll put the limit of advance at this point right here. Seal up the road. Overstack. Okay. Alright, so yeah, we're hopping down the road. Pretty good clip. And the machine gun teams, right? They're not assigned to a company. Yeah, I forgot that. Okay, so double time. Double time. It's always safe to just move one unit at a time. You never know. Moving as a stack, I really don't ever see any benefit to doing it. So I tend not to. Double time. Okay. Good space. Yeah, I know our units are probably going to start falling into low ammo, but yeah, we just kind of got to do it. Now, what to do with these units? We don't want to overstack. Again, going over 12 SP per hex just gives it bonus to the enemy. So you're going to stop there. Yeah, we'll just move you both here. And you're already disrupted. I don't feel like we need fire support. So we'll just double time up. Perfect. 12, 12, and 12. 12 SP per each hex there. Cycle through. All units have been considered. Give the enemy its turn. No fire support, no air support. Okay. Yes. There we go. One headquarters unable to provide supply. 4 units now low on ammo. And we cleared the blockage. So that's it for this video. Yeah, we're just shy of an hour, so I hope this is interesting. Because yeah, we're gonna take it all the way to Buckingham Palace if we can. And we've used 6 out of 20 turns, so we were not even a third of the way through. We've taken 1 SP loss and inflicted 5, and taken our first objective. So pretty fun. I'm sure we'll lose more SP. I'm gearing myself to lose more than I care to lose in any given scenario, but given this, the nature of the weather, there's nothing, literally nothing we can do other than just common sense movements when engaging the enemy. So hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.